Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new Gans plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Welcome everyone to the 308th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, December 26, 2019. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Cram. I'll be your host today along with Flint Mulhausen. And we are joined as usual in this workshop with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's ready to go for delivering today's workshop.
Yes. Oh. Good morning to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers. As is tradition, today is the second day of the Christmas, or we call the Boxing Day. We wish you all a Merry Christmas and the best that what we call the world of the soul and physicality of the man can bring. Many of us still got a few seconds left of it before it tips over to the second day, to the Boxing Day, and some of us are already halfway through what we call the Boxing Day. It is nice to be here again and be able to share more knowledge and enjoy sharing it. There are a couple of things which we would do, let you know. first thing is that next week's teaching, next Thursday, will move to 12 o'clock Central European time, not the usual 9 o'clock. The reason for it is, as usual, from the first day of working day, we are back on track and I'll be traveling, and it's not good to be like the last time in Dubai, half cooked. So if you move it by 12 o'clock, we'll be in right position, arrived, and we can share knowledge. And if it turns out to be good for many people, we might shift the teaching to 12 o'clock. I know some people don't like it on the west coast of United States, but as we say, United States is not everything on the humanity, only 3% of the population. On the other hand, we will carry on back to 9 o'clock the week after that. And I hope, as I said, every teaching from now on, more or less the way we see it, comes different weeks from different part of this planet. We are in different place today, next week in different, and a week after again in different, and a week after that in different country. And then we have the, what we call the Malta Conference, and then the whole cycle starts. And this carries on till what we call in April, in the beautiful city of Tehran. If you were aware, we announced, and from next week, we open the booking for Tehran Conference. Tehran Conference, as I announced to the Iranian teaching chat rooms on Monday, and we indicated last week, will be a pivotal point in the world of the teaching of the technology and the world of science. For us, and most probably beginning of a new cycle. Tehran Conference is open to as many people as who can travel to Tehran. We encourage you as knowledge seekers to attain visa to attend the conference. The Iranian Keshe Foundation has been discussing and has been debriefed about the Tehran Conference. The difference between Tehran Conference is we try to organize that you only need a ticket to get to Tehran. The length of the conference you stay in Tehran will be handed over as much as it can be done to the Iranian Keshe Foundation team, which means you will live amongst the Iranian families. You understand the reality of what we call Iranian culture of hosting and the love of Iranian nation. They have started the process. We can hopefully accommodate as many people as can come. And in this process of 4 days of conference, the total space technology from the Iranian scientific point of view and the Keshe Foundation will be shared. Which means in the conference, the Iranian teams have started organizing themselves to show different aspects and technologies they have developed or they are developing through the space technology. We have already asked the Iranian government to accommodate up to 2,000 what we call representatives from Keshe Foundation, the Iranian Keshe Foundation, and the diplomatic and the political scene of Iran, to the extent that the invitation goes to His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran. As I explained, we have reached the point of peace. And as we see it with the new development in technology, the war systems of the present time has become obsolete, as we have seen in the American Navy, Air Force, and everything else that they could master in the Persian Gulf for past months, but they could not utilize it because the damage done by their attack on Iran was so destructive to themselves. We saw the end of wars. And we saw how the most sophisticated rockets, which were targeted to Tehran, was scientifically and technologically returned back to the sender, as I said in my teachings before. And accidentally, as I said, you remember, go back to the teaching, return to the sender. There is no such address. As I said, when the friend sends you a gift and you don't need it, you give it back to the friend. It depends if he has a use for it. When the rockets, the most advanced missiles, were targeted Tehran and it was returned, it landed in the Saudi Arabia refinery. And they could not find anybody else to blame except Iran, because they launched it. So they got their own gift back, and they were so embarrassed to say such a thing that, as you saw, they tried to give their air forces to see if they can get more in, and they gave it to the Saudis and couldn't do anything with it. Because Saudis, when they examined the wreckage of the rocket, it had all American data on it. This is what one thing the Americans could not tell to the public. The refinery and the fire we saw in the Saudi Arabia was a return of a gift. Unfortunately, the ball could not be caught by those who sent it as a gift, and it caused mayhem. This shows the beauty of the knowledge and the technology, that we do not need to attack, but we have the technology to make the present weapon technology obsolete. And this is the beginning of the peace. And in this process, as I explained to the Iranian, what we call Keshe Foundation team, this obsolescence of the weapons of the present time, the most advanced, has created end of wars. But at the same time, it has created a new dimension, that someone has to take the lead in a technological and knowledge of man in advanced technology. And there is no nation better than Iran, who is the cradle of the knowledge and love. So in Tehran, we take the leadership in science and technology on the banner of the humanity. And this is where the turning point comes. This is taking leadership by science, by peace, and not by weapon and murder and mass murder, as we have seen in recent past and over hundreds of years by mankind. Therefore, if any of you would like to come to the conference in Tehran to see the first step in science and technology of the space and change in the evolution of science, the Tehran Conference is the beginning of that cycle. And as I advise the Iranian government officials, it's time to take the leadership the way Dariush did and Kurosh did. On this way, please go to the Keshe Foundation website, register yourself. We'll pass your names to the Iranian officials for clearing for your passage to Tehran. And secondly, we pass your names to the Iranian Keshe Foundation community to arrange and accommodate you on your arrival in Tehran. Means they will facilitate the Iranians who take you to their home, most probably pick you up in their cars, and you'll be taken to the love of home. We bring the change both scientifically and to the soul of the man. We even will invite the world leaders and the world ambassadors to attend the Tehran Conference. And one of the best one will be the offer of the invitation for the Iranian officials to the President Trump. Maybe that'll be the only chance he'll get to attain a Nobel Prize for Peace, and maybe a path to the second election, winning it through change of attitude. on this platform, it makes it something very easy. It's the responsibility of every Keshe Foundation supporters, knowledge seekers, to write and invite your diplomats, your politicians, and your head of states to Tehran for the conference, for the original scientific conference, which will lead to peace conference. How you go on the media, how you go use the public platforms on the internet, how you spread this invitation around the world, and the success of it is in your hand and the direction set by Universal Council and the Earth Council. The beauty of it is that we take the leadership as one nation, one planet, and as one race, we guide the rest of the humanity to the new path, knowledge, strength through the knowledge and technology for peace. This is the message of Christmas for the humanity. In so many ways, we all have worked to this target, to this goal, and we bring it to this point. Every effort will be made that we can and we do, and facilities to be made available that in a way humanity starts a new course. Showing new technologies, showing salvation from the pains and problems of the past, gradually changing and financing peace and new technologies than war. Caroline says to me yesterday, do we need to go to Malta and build a center there? Why don't we make it on a ship? I said, I thought about it already. But at the present time, one missile can create us a lot of problem. But if we can push the world community towards the peace, maybe the most latest advanced naval warships, which are anchored 700 kilometers in the Indian Ocean by the Americans, will change and become flag bearers of peace to go around the world instead of delivering bombs and rockets. They deliver new education and science and technology. They become flag bearers of peace. It's very easy. We don't need to dismantle them. It's easy to change them into education centers, into health centers, and put them around the world to help to change, to convert a lot. We make men of peace from men of arms. And you got to understand, these people are highly educated most of the time, most of them. So in a way, they change their clothes to teaching and culture and changing. And does not take much. It just needs one man to open the eye of the man to the inside of the peace. And we see Tehran Conference to be the beginning of. And so, as our webmasters open the Keshe Foundation registration for Tehran, the only thing you need is ticket of love. We saw John sitting in God knows how many hours of traveling from Argentina to be in the conference in Brazil, and returning back, an old man in his 70s more or less. But the journey was there to make, because it makes that difference in the soul. List your name and come to Tehran. And when you go to the embassy, write down, we are going to the conference, Keshe Foundation, from 19th to 22nd in the beautiful city of Tehran. As I said to the Iranian Keshe Foundation, if you invite and one minister accepts to attend, the Iranian minister has to accept his invitation of arrival. Which means if any of you have connection with a president or a prime minister of your nation, or you can do what the Italians did in the Italian parliament when the Keshe Foundation key was released, to invite, and he requests he wants to attend their conference, the Iranian leadership has to accept and be present. This is the international law of engagement by the world leaders. This engages many of us. And this is the beginning of taking leadership in technology and science and peace. It comes one point. Do we exclude nations or do we invite all? You have to understand, on arrival in Tehran and on availability of the what we call enhancement systems, would any of the world leaders who dare to take the step to step in? And would the voice of the man while going in will be different than the voice of the man when he comes out, man or a woman? Or would we get into the what we call the pleasure of the Iranian masterpiece of work, what we call taraf, which means you go first, please. No, 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 you go first, please. See which leaders will take the first step into the new dimensions of peace by entering the enhancement unit universal system. Would they walk in because of their illnesses, or would they walk in to enhance and elevate their souls, that by stepping out they'll reach a new level of leadership? And maybe on a stepping out will reach the prophets of Baha'u'llah, bless his name, who said that the time will come that no man will take the crown of leadership, as they see each other as equal and in love with each other. It's a very delicate point, and in a very, very slow way, I have guided the Keshe Foundation and humanity to this point. And from now on, it's in your hand. Keshe Foundation followers, supporters, or Keshe Foundation, what we call anti or whatever. Let's see how we can bring peace through the knowledge and technology. Just before we start, I was explaining to Rick, I had a very strange but beautiful experience. I was in a airport lounge. Sitting next to him was an American woman, and on the other side of her was an American man. Very interesting, attention-seeking, enjoying the presence of children. As I found out later on, they couldn't have any children, so they enjoyed the presence of them. And in my talk, he said he's from Washington. I thought, a Navy man, a national security guy, his haircut, his manner of walking, very extrovert, American as usual, but somebody connected to military. The haircut of the American military goes with them till they go to grave. And in talking, he said, I am the first pilot who flew the F-17 and very proud of it. And if you know, F-17s are one of the latest man-killing machines by the Americans. And I answered them in a simple way. I said, with the new technology, all the present weapon technology is obsolete. We have war. If we manage to create new weapons out of the new plasma technology which has come up, and he could not take it. He could not see what he worked and he was so proud of, hit the dust. And maybe this is where we have to go. We have to lead. We have to understand the world leaders need to set the new line of communication for humanity to explain the new advancement in peace and new advancement in equality of man through knowledge and technology. As I said, and now you understand why I put Tehran Conference in such a distance to build up for it. The Iranian Keshe Foundation have already started the work, and they said they have a commit group of 30 or something they can start, and they have enough to be able to support such a position. You got to understand the Iranian mentality. As soon as you say you have a guest, they all invite the guest, and as soon as say it's a foreigner, oh, they're worshipped. So when you get to Tehran, don't get surprised that you get smothered with love, kisses and cares and thought of, when the best seats and the best restaurants in the house and the city is for you for the time you're in Tehran. Does not matter if you're a layman or a president. This will create a dilemma for the Iranian government to accept such a conference in such a short term, or to take the leadership in science and technology and the evolution, development of the new space technology. In the coming days and weeks, I will be in touch closely with the Iranian officials, trying to accommodate, for them to understand the position of the Iranian scientists that leading in nanotechnology, in what we call the present rocket, nuclear, and all the advanced technologies. The Iranian scientists have grown, homegrown, and lead the world in many aspects. Now it's time officially to take lead the mankind to the progress of development of peace and technology, and abandoning wars and conflicts. I wonder if our Hebrew Universal Council can invite the Israeli president to Tehran. Or we can get the rabbis to return to Tehran, where most of them, born and bred through their ancestors. Would we see the Italians be strong enough to see themselves in a position to invite the Vatican and the Italian leadership? The Tehran Conference is not just scientific, but is a total science and technology to create condition of peace. We encourage all the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers. If you have achieved evolution in the technology, let us know. We invite you to present it. And I hope we don't get the lady from Italy who wanted to show a game. And then when we didn't let her show, she became everything wrong with the foundation. These conferences are a serious point for scientists and politicians and diplomats to attend. In so many ways, I have given you the best Christmas gift the Creator could give. the chance of peace and the chance of entry and opening of the universal community. 2020 is the time of change, and 2020 is the time when most of the world leaders were promised the beginning of the world peace, the beginning of the beginning. In a way, as we say, the best mark you can get is 20. Now the mankind has got 2 of them, 20 out of 20. And it's time to graduate towards it. And it's the responsibility of all the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers to work in this direction. It's not anymore somebody else might do it. I write it. I invite the world leaders. I ask and request the Iranian officials to organize this function, that we show the beauty of our new technology and the beauty of new peace and world order. I wonder how much and how far we can meet, and as I said, by 2021, the beginning of the promise of a new life. A new soul will manifest, which the humanity and the universe have been waiting for. This is what we said, and this is what has been the promise of the beginning of the time. Then we will see, are we still going to kill animals to consume? Are we going to destroy more to get advantage for ourselves for a short time and lifespan on this planet? Or we understand more that the small changes we done on this planet, whatever, has had what they call rippling effect in the universal community. Mankind has not seen that yet. As I explained once, it's like a farmer who grows the fruit, and to him it's just a box of fruit which he sells to go to the big city, that he can have an income from it, that he can live. But that box of fruit lands in the palaces and the tables of the kings and the queens and the leaders of the world without him knowing. Has this been the ripple effect of the man on the universal community? And is it time for the farmer to understand where the fruit of his life work ends up? Has mankind been blind that what he has done, even wrong or right, has had a ripple effect on the creation and the world of the universe? And for the first time, he comes to meet and eat on the table of the kings. Are we going to sacrifice to cut the tree, or are we nourishing the farmer's work to bring a more delicious fruit, but not for the king and the queen, but for a whole nation, that the tree becomes the tree of humanity, the apple which the Adam promised? But as we said, man has never understood the true story of the apple and the Adam. As I explained to one of the knowledge seekers, in the present history of man, you say the man or the Adam took a rib that he made and created the Eve. In truth, there is more extension to this. The man who created the Eve is not the wife. The Eve is the daughter of the Adam. where he could truly love and where his beauty could be passed down to the rest of his own creation. Now we understand the beauty of the daughter of the Adam, not the Eve. Mankind has always read the stories in half. And maybe now you understand why, when the truth was given to the Jewish leaders, they gave half a story. And they said the blood of what we call faith passes down the woman, the blood of the woman, the daughter, from the mother and from mother to daughter. Now we complete another mystery in the cycle of man. And now we understand the true Eve is the daughter, which is born to carry the beauty of the Creator to be able to replicate and carry both the love and the physicality of the Creator. And that is the time of completion of the cycle of the truth. In so many ways, the apple was the love of man or a physical existence. Now, as we progress towards what we call the Tehran Conference, we build to the next step. We build to the direction of not being interested in how the cores go and how this goes, but we look at the total energy which this technology will create in humanity. A new bloodline, a new blood life, a new cycle, a new air, a new continuity through the daughter of Adam. This is the time of peace. And the peace will come through technology and no other way. A correct, peaceful technology which meets all the needs of the man and corrects all the path and the past. Many of us will come to understand this very soon. It will grow on us in the next few weeks and coming months that the new promised beginning has started. And we don't know any other nation and any other place than the nation of Iran to carry this. Going by historical past, when the man crossed the Strait of Hormuz into the mainlands from Africa, the spread of human race across the Asian, European and American continent started from just above the Straits of Hormuz when the family is spread. So the land of Iran is the point where the humanity is spread across this planet. And so we go back to the motherland, to where we changed, we accepted the handover from the African continent. And the size and the time of the evolution started. In so many ways, we are all Aryans. Doesn't matter where we come from. As if you're a Chinese or Russian or American or European, the change and the position started just above the Straits of Hormuz, when the water was shallow and mankind crossed into a new area, and it spread across the coastline and further up in the northways. In so many ways, the Tehran Conference is bringing back the whole of humanity to the point of where they divided from where they started. And maybe this time, from this point, again we start a new evolution of dividing into space, and we start the process of, instead of spanning across the continents of this planet, we expand through our knowledge and new technology across the universe. I am the Messiah. As I said to the Iranians, I am the Messiah of my soul and my physicality, and to me, Tehran is where my soul will find peace, and knowing that the new generation of souls which come from it will carry that wish and that message. It depends on you where your Messiah takes you to. And do not forget, when you put drops of ganses in the bowl and it takes motion and becomes dynamic, it creates a common soul to become the soul of all the ganses in the bowl. With this motion, we bring man to that point that the new soul of peace will be created in Tehran for all the world leaders and all the men at the same time. This has been our wish, and that's what we planned. The truth is, we have come to that point of maturity, and the knowledge and the science of man has brought us to this point that we see no need for wars, as we have managed to match each other in war. If you think of it, when two animals fight, and when they get tired of fighting because no one of them can win, they talk peace. And when one thinks is stronger and it starts a war and he thinks he can win and he gets stuck, at the end of it ends up on the table of peace negotiations. And mankind has been through all this. Mankind has managed to, in so many ways, master this thing, master the reality of the science of creation. And we are lucky few that are born and be present and witness this point of change. Billions of us born in the past were wishing for it, that they could see it, and billions of humans after this time wish they could be present to be part of it. Tehran Conference is revolution in science and evolution in bringing peace between nations and religions, that they all agree that there is oneness in all, and there is no need to cover it with different colors and races and flags and religions and God knows what name. As I said, we have just started. Write to your world leaders, write to your diplomats, write to and arrange between each other how many of you will travel to Tehran. We have 100,000 football stadium in Tehran. And we have 10-room conference in Tehran too. You decide in how the mankind will go, will make a power to see, or will become shy, being afraid of what we believe in. Don't be afraid. And if you can sponsor or you can do, make the way to Tehran, apply and go and arrange plane crafts, 200, 300 people, talk to the tour operators. Iranian governments and Iranian nation will welcome. The beauty of it is, when you attend a country for a conference, how can you put embargoes on the nation? Now you understand. Mankind, by killing many in one go in Hiroshima, thought they have found the ultimate weapon of destruction and killing and power. But actually, that Hiroshima bomb was the starting point of peace, that everybody targeted to kill as many, but nobody dared to use. And we saw it 70, 80 years down the line. Two most powerful nuclear technology, one with science and one with weapon, stood face to face. And they have come to the truth between Iran and United States. One not knowing what the other one has, and one being fully aware of what other possesses, but both lethal enough to deter from use. We have come to the point of stalemate in the world of war, and this has shown the world community that there is time for peace. There is time that weapons can be put down. The only skirmishes we see will be between the Christians and the Muslims in and around plains of Africa. And this soon will cease to exist. This is the war of religions, who banks more, and this will come to an end by April and onwards, when then there is no more religion to fight for, but the unity of the human and mankind. Vatican has collected enough to put back in humanity. Saudi Arabia has collected enough in Jeddah to allow the humanity to enjoy a new cycle of life. And the other world leaders have learned it's time to talk constructive to change, and it's time to do a constructive work for their nations. As we said, you won't see any charges on Keshe Foundation Tehran Conference registration, and as is tradition, and especially with this meeting, all your registration will be given to the Iranian national security. You'll be vetted by the Iranian security system, that we all know we go in for peace, and we all know that they know that we know it's time to talk peace. We don't march on the street. We gather to explain the new technology that it marches mankind to peace. We encourage you to show us many application developments in the scientific world in the next 4 months using the technology. We have asked the Iranian scientists to do so. And in so many ways, as I said, now you understand why I said by March 2021 I retire, because I will achieve what I came here for. And the rest will be in the hand of the world leaders and Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers and the Universal Council and the Earth Council to carry the wishes of peace from us. In a way, we step down for you to start managing. And I hope that was the best Christmas gift we could ever bring mankind. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you gather strength, unify the Keshe Foundation around the world to meet, to work with, and through the Iranian Keshe Foundation to achieve what we call World Peace Plan. The webmasters will open a new chat line, Tehran Conference, World Peace. And all of you can participate on it through Telegram. Has the facility to translate in languages, and you can change it to the language which you want. It will be translated, that you can all communicate together around the world as knowledge seekers. On this new platform, which will be released as we did with Brazil, will be no allowance for disrespect and humiliation, or the talks about the politics of the world. Politics has failed. Science and wisdom of the man has taken over. We want you to use this platform to communicate with all the Iranians, the Chinese, and the rest as a common platform, as the Iran Peace Conference, that it brings us the unity that when we meet in Tehran, we already know each other in so many ways. This is what we call the unifying platform. Try to enjoy each other and try to understand who's going to be where and how you're going to meet and where you're going to meet and how things are going to be done. Invite ministers and invite politicians, invite the laymen on the street and doctors and professors from universities and different governments. I feel sorry for the Iranian government that he has to do such a thing in such a short time. But in so many ways, by what they did a few weeks ago, diverting such a huge damage which was planned for Tehran, now they can use the time of peace to organize for this conference. In a way, when a world leader dies, in a matter of few days, the other world leaders find a time to cancel to attend his funeral and to travel to the destination of burial and celebration of the new leader. Now the world leaders have 4 months to bury the dead of the war, of man's wars for centuries in Tehran, and organize to be there to see the birth of the new life, new generation, new place and dimension. In so many ways, we all going to the funeral of end of wars, and we all going to celebrate the beginning of peace and entry of man into universal community and in the dimension of understanding the world of creation in a much better way without dogmas and prejudices of the past. I know many of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers have already told me they are getting ready to be in Tehran. And strange enough, Tehran is ready for you. We make this platform on the condition, that only condition, that the technology will lead us to peace. The technology will lead us for the Americans and the Iranians and the Chinese to work on one platform. How to open space in a way that we do not make the mistakes of the past on this planet. I was watching a program about Himalaya and people going to Everest to conquer the Everest. And in that process, they're very proud and many die and many don't make it to the top. But what they don't show, how much rubbish, debris, and carnage they leave behind at the bottom of the mountain. This time, as we try to achieve the peak, we should make that there is no garbage left on this planet and in the universe, in the brain of the man, in the emotion of the man, and in the direction of unity of the mankind. Clean up that when you start afresh. We invite the Jews back to Tehran, as we invite the Armenians as we gave them home in Jaffa. Iran is the land of Zerdusht. And as is said, the three wise men which came on Christmas, the wisdom of do good, think good, and act good. پندار نیک، گفتار نیک، پندار نیک. I will be releasing new technologies in coming weeks, and different Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers will be welcome to test, to develop, to be ready for Tehran Conference. These new groups will consist of a space, fuel, energy, health, environment, materials. Your language should not be the barrier. We bring these groups into KFSSI teachings on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. This is how the target for KFSSI Monday is set. And in a way, Rick started the process last week. Now what we want to do is to gather what we call platform of Keshe Foundation experts in different sections on KFSSI to come together on a daily basis to develop, to have these technologies ready to be demonstrated in Tehran. Irrespective of your color, race, religion, American scientists welcome as much as the Iranians and the Chinese. We work on a platform of one race, one planet, one nation. If you know experts in different fields of what you want to do, and the groups are set, invite them. Doesn't matter who they are and where they sit, invite them to the platform of communication and development, and they will participate. The Keshe Foundation KFSSI was set to break the barriers of the religion, race, and knowledge. And from this term starts from next week. You have an idea which can be developed in the next 3-4 months on this basic basis. You have a platform in KFSSI. A number of Zoom channels will be set up for these purposes. And in so many ways, whatever you can imagine you want to develop, we will show you that it can be done inside the enhancement unit and how you need to adapt it to use it. Even those of you who are of a path of belief of Christ, I will manifest the soul of Christ in that machine. Even though you want to see the presence of Muhammad plus his name, you will hear him. If you decide to develop the technology to the level of the soul of time and space of the time of the presence. I'll bring Moses to declare what lies he did, that we understand what has happened in true time. And in so many ways, when they speak, mankind has nothing to do to divide himself. Those of you who understand this will take the path of wisdom. Those of you who don't understand will wither to nothingness. Whatever you can imagine has passed and timed and developed, and you want to develop, will be developed in what we call the Universal Enhancement Unit. Because it's the copy of the work of the universe. It's you who have to understand how that universe created that condition, the time, the space, the soul, and the action of the man. Now, tell the Vatican to open the books and tell the Vatican to close the books and bring the truth what happened. So many people joined the Keshe Foundation on the wrong track. And so many people came to Keshe Foundation, they thought they will find the right track. And in so many ways, you all will find your own ways. And in so many ways, we all find our own ways according to what we understand of the technology and how we decide to direct it and divert it. I have no fear in what is to come. It's a time to rejoice. And in so many ways, a lot of people who came around the foundation to see its benefit and they got disappointed. Ask yourself why and how and what was the reason and why did your soul brought you to this journey. And then you'll find the answer. We came to gain a better financial position, or we came to gain a spread of the knowledge on the cover of financial gain from the foundation. Many of you played that game and many of you walked away disappointed. But that is for you to understand. And many of you have come and through this process will become leaders and become pinnacle points, and you become pivotal points of the new generation of peace. As of next week, we teach more and more in advanced level of the system technologies, not for you or those what are called common man to copy, but for those who are more advanced educated to be able to develop it, that by Tehran Conference we can deliver, that it becomes cornerstones of the new knowledge. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Just had to find my microphone there. As usual, I remind the attendees that they can raise their hands and we can allow you to speak. And the panelists can go ahead if you have a question. We do have, well, I guess we want to keep the questions to the topics you brought up just now for the first part here. Is that correct, Mr. Keshe?
I hope so.
Okay. I have a question. You mentioned the categories of these groups that would be formed. Was it space and then fuel and
You
energy?
decide. You decide.
Okay.
It's just what we can deliver, what we can bring. And what as a Keshe Foundation can develop. And it's how we see it to be done. As you know, the medical side and what we call the new space technology application is headed by one of the most beautiful men we know in Keshe Foundation, by Dr. Rodriguez. He is accepted to head the Keshe Foundation medical section from the teaching development of the new machinery which we have developed. And he will choose, he has a total free hand in bringing doctors and those who can be trained for the new machines which are coming into operation gradually. And he's one of the most capable men who knows the technology. He lives and loves the technology the way I do and understands it. We have another doctor in Iran who's the same, and many other doctors, true doctors, not these are men of medicine who understand both sides of what is there. And we put a team under the what we call mastership of Dr. Rodriguez to bring this together, because I think and I believe, and from what I've seen past 20 years, this technology will go first through the health from the man's sphere of his own life. And by seeing progress, he will take new actions to bring the other parts in. And the experiments on the health side will be one of the most extensive ones, because everybody wants to know how they can get rid of the cancer and this and that. But on the other hand, then what about the food which caused the cancer? What about the condition of the emotion which causes these conditions? Then these are new researches you need to do. What about the energy fields which it causes, that it leads up to these points and conditions? Many of people don't understand how amazingly we create so much of our own problem through the energy supplies. How we create so much transfer of energy from our soul through the use of energy. These all needs to be studied. These lead to concentration and creation of new diseases of conversion and evolution. And in so many ways, are we going to extend the knowledge beyond the present, what we call physical, pharmaceutical? And are we going to develop new ways to feed the man, new ways of agriculture? In simplicity, if you look at it, when any of you want to do the food and agriculture, what about understanding the totality of the need of the food and the totality of the agriculture? What is agriculture? Or is it the Gans culture? Because at the end of it is you take the energy of the sun, you convert it to protein or nitrogen, you put it in the plant, then you take that plant, whatever it might produce, the root, the fruit, the seed, you put it in the body of the man, you convert it back to the energy, that energy creates the body of the man and enhances and nourishes the soul of the man. Now that we understand the knowledge in totality, do we need to go through this process? Do I carry a spaceship of cows and the wheat with me? Or do I carry the energy transfer that you knowledge seekers now understand and can do in the universal system? Conversion of energy to the need of the man without killing, without building it to kill, to feed. This is the problem in the process of this planet. This is what has not been understood. We say we don't want to kill animals, we don't want to destroy plants to eat. These are a conversion system. Now we have that knowledge. Do we need to go to the processes of creation and destruction, or can we use directly the energy of the universe in the dimension of physicality and the soul of the man? Can we take the energy of the universe through the plasma or Gans technology and feed the soul of the man, which has been the whole purpose of this killing. We have matured, we have to look at the facts. And how many of you knowledge seekers would like to start testing these in these machines? What level enhances to what level the soul of the man? What do we need to enhance, to use the technology? Enhancement, universal enhancement. It enhances the universe, not the physicality of the man. But I had to show you, this is for cancer, this is for Parkinson, and you all are happy with it because you're so afraid of your own demise. But your demise was set to establish the soul, to free the soul. What are you afraid of? Would knowledge seekers look into what ganses do I need, in what condition to create, to feed the soul that physicality is fed for centuries? Then a lamb, an apple, and a creature of the space is not food for consumption of energy. Now you understand. Try to come with a, there are still ganses and there's still things. Caroline says to me the other day, you know, you have to set up different classes for different level of understanding. Those who still want to play with ganses, and those who still want to talk about the ganses, and those who developed and they want to play with energy. I said to her, I already thought of it, but there's only one way, and this is the way we're going to open, that those who are researchers teach the others, and everybody comes up. Don't be shy, I don't know how to make ganses. You never know, do you ever need to make ganses if you learn the knowledge of energy transfer through the universe. Maybe that's why you never learn to make ganses. So when you decide on these courses, on these platforms, you want to start in KFSSI, invite the world knowledge seekers, world leaders in science to come in. You will get a lot of arrogance, especially if they have a PhD at the end of their name. And the BOC says that the man with no PhD understands better than HPD. Do you know what's the difference, PhD and HPD? Hypocrisy. You can guess the rest of it. If you understand that the Knowledge Seekers platform, KFSSI, is for you now to set up the new structure of research and bring other people, as I said last week in other talks, to join you. Don't think there are not knowledge seekers. You see somebody in the field of knowledge, bring them in, teach them, and let them be, and then you will see them. You will see they have to defend the book they read and the title they put on their shoulder. But on the other hand, as our Iranian and Dr. Rodriguez both said the same word to me in the past couple of weeks, but in different languages, this is not a what we call new technology in medicine. This completes and puts everything in order of what they've been taught in medicine. It puts everything in a frame that you understand and you can help. And the beauty of it is, especially in medical term, doctors assign themselves to help the sick and help the man in poor health, but they never had the accessibility, and they got fed up with the present world of medicine because cannot solve the problem, but sometimes creates more problems. With this technology, they have the freedom to test the grounds that they can make the difference for their patients, being an animal being a human, being a plant, or whatever else. What is interesting is in a very short time, shorter than mankind can imagine, you will find men of space in these machines. As they come, they ask for what we call healing from their problems or disasters they face in the span of the universe. The universal system we have brought is a common system across the universe. It's not exclusivity to man. You might look at it that is a strange machine, but this is actually for the first time, as I said, we have brought the gift from the universal community to mankind. As a man, as a dog, as a fish, and as a man from the space will use the same machine for every aspect of their needs. I have brought you a gift from the Creator. It depends on your knowledge, it depends on your understanding, and it depends on your openness to accept that the new condition has come and has started. And then you understand there is no difference between the man and the man of universe. You all will go through the same system. And as they need to nourish, they need to heal and repair, as the man does, will go through the same system. Don't be puzzled that this is a new system. This is a unifying system for the whole of creation in the universe. But to you is new. It's not just for making energy to heal Parkinson. It's for the man of space when see the machine, knows what it is, and he knows how to operate it. For the mankind, we had to put the control panel. But for men of the universe, when they sit through their emotion, they control the panel themselves through the operation of the system. Mankind soul will learn, because you missed one point. You remember, the strongest always gives to the weakest to bring you to the balance. So when a man of universe needs balance, enters the new system. Now you understand. As I told you, slowly I open the beauty of the system I have given you. Because it takes to digest, and it takes for a few to understand, for the others to be enlightened. The universal enhancement system says on it, belongs to the universe and not to the body of the man. As I said, man always looks at his own pocket. But now your pocket has got a little bit bigger. And now it's for you to understand and utilize it. To put and develop research groups in KFSSI that you can understand the use of the system. As I suggested the last time, get groups who can work and understand the system. You still need to do other fringe works, but part of that leads to this. Don't be shocked if you are in the system and you feel the presence of something. That something could be someone who has come for repair, but in the dimension of physicality you cannot see. They're amongst us, and our openness of accepting new friends and new family will be very harsh. This is why we don't want the world leaders and religious leaders to start making this difference, to start milking it again. And any religious leader who takes such a step. We will not allow the conflict in race, religion, and anything else to go beyond the atmosphere of this planet. Enough is enough. You meet them with pleasure, you greet them with love of the Creator, the way they have done to you. In the last conference in Brazil, those who know, we invited one, and she was present. I met with her in the morning of the conference, and she attended with the pleasure of existence. And in the conference I said, we have one of them amongst us. I try to introduce the universal community to mankind in a very, very slow step. The understanding of it is important. That we are one race, one nation, one universe. As we have chosen different colors and shapes on this planet, we have done the same across the universe. But we all come from the same Father, we come from the same Adam, and the love of his creation through his daughter has led to creation of the universe. So infant to give, to nourish, has led to the creation of Unicos. When you're a father and you hold your daughter, you protect her and you nourish her because you know she's there from your creation and she can replicate you to carry your love to your, what we call offsprings. And this is what is the story of the universe. And we are one of those offsprings. That from that offsprings we have brothers and cousins and sisters. So the universal community is our cousins and brothers and whatever you want to call it, through the diversion and conversion of the fields of the universe and the collection of it in operation of its existence we call the soul of the being. Maybe we have opened a new door. And now we have as human race to research using the new technology to understand, to unravel how and the way we will become part of what we left. We are not a lost tribe. We are just a tribe which was too busy playing, forgot about the tribe while they were still looking after us. Try to do your research in understanding the elevation of the soul and what soul level creates what kind of creation in which dimension of the universe. You are looking to travel in the depth of the space through your soul and see what you convert to in the dimension of physicality. Now that I have explained more, little bit more, you have to understand you can do the same thing by elevating your soul to the level of the soul of the destination, that the physicality will take shape on this planet if it accepts the presence. As I said, this is the universal system. I wonder how many of you will sign up to be in Tehran and how many of you will sign up to show new understanding. In Tehran, if the time will be short, we extend it. And if the Iranian government blocks us, we'll change the government. We don't change the government through a revolution. We change the soul of the leaders of the government, that they'll be enlightened. What we call stealth soul technology. It's the responsibility of Iranian leadership to accept, and it's the responsibility of Iranian leadership to set up and take the leadership in the world peace and knowledge and technology, and become the facilitator of the mankind to join the universal community through understanding of the man taking what we call the wings of light into the universe. My wish is my command. And the Iranian governments and the Iranian officials will follow the same. We have come to facilitate peace, and we have come to facilitate from those who understand the meaning of the peace, those who have not crossed their borders for 300 years. They defend it, but they don't fight it. And have been the same banner as they were for the Jews and the Armenians hundreds of years ago. Now they're taken to the point of other nations to enjoy the same freedom and the same liberty, be it in the borders of Syria or Palestine. You have to understand why Iran has stood so fast with these, because it's been the same. We stood so fast with the other kings when we protected the Jews and the Armenians and the rest. And now we defend mankind to become and take the path of peace. This is part of our blood. This is part of our culture of understanding. We're all the same family, and we need to be treated equal and in the right way. We invite the Saudi kingship to Tehran for the conference as much as we invite their new friends in Jerusalem, those who sell them arms to create more war. Let them be ashamed of their own conduct. Invitation has to go to the Iranians as much as to the Palestinians and the Americans and the rest to attend this conference. If they do not allow the conference to take shape in the dimension of physicality, I will bring the soul of the man on the 19th to Tehran. And then there will be no leadership. Try to understand today's teaching. This is the teaching of the man to open the universe. It will not suit many of those what I call who thought they are top and they sit right on the top of the Keshe Foundation, they dictate and they've been done wrong. They have not understood the purpose of the Keshe Foundation. Our purpose is very simple. Don't be afraid. Put the cup down. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It's a little bit of noise. Caroline is trying to give me a cup of tea and she's trying to be very silent. I should have said that, should I? This is what is life. I love to be in in the body of a man as a human to enjoy the beauty of a woman. But at the same time, I love to be a woman to enjoy the body of a man to be in existence. Does not matter which one of us sits on which way. The soul counts and the emotion of the perfection counts. And what we create with it. It is the time for changing, and in so many ways, mankind will change. Mankind will change because we have brought something to you that you did not understand. And it is the mankind ready for such evolution? Yes. Is the mankind is ready to go through this such evolution? The answer is yes. This child has been kept in the womb of the mother for millions of years to mature, to give birth to the new life, and it started. Ding. Are there any other questions?
Mr. Keshe, is John here. If Merrim, if I may call you this way. Thank you for the motto of old man, but I certainly don't feel falling into this category for the next 400 years, thanks to the Gans waters.
This is Mr. John, who traveled from Argentina, tens of, what do you call it, 20 hours or something on a bus to be in the conference in Brazil. He doesn't like to be called an old man like me. We all like to think we are teenagers at this age. We live that way, and we work that way. And you chose the wrong number for 100 years. You need maybe to put another dot in front of it.
I didn't want to exaggerate.
As I said recently to someone, if we go by the pattern of our parents, we are born and nourished by, as we see the extension of all our families have lived into 90s and 100s. At 60, we haven't even reached the half a step. So, and what they say, the new generations will live in 250, 200 physical life plus, then we are still teenagers, and you're right. A lot of my family, very few lived less than 80 plus. So with the healthcare and everything else and replacement organs we have, we're all living into 100, 120, 150. So at 60, we are still not even half the age there. And we only work for 30 years or so before they made us retired by law. So we have only worked a quarter of our physical working life. Any other questions?
Did have a written question in that regard. To use the GANs successfully, is all that is required is to drink the plasma water daily and spend time daily in a GANs energy field, such as the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit?
If we can master all the energies that the universe gives to the body of the man for it to survive, yes. I was talking to Dr. Rodriguez. He said, you need so many things, so many numbers of cancers, and it works everything. And I said, to myself, Dr. Rodriguez, multiplied by about 1,000. You're just about right. But that's a good beginning. When you speak about conversion and living, we absorb not only from the food we eat. As I said, we absorb 80% of the energy of what we need from our environment. And some of these energies are so rare that only can come in the conditions and interactions of the cosmos. We are the children of the universe. We are not children of the earth. Just because we see the light and that's all we're going to receive, no way.
There's a couple of more questions from Cyrus as well. He says, do I understand this correctly, that Gans is a portal from this physical dimension into another dimension where everyone is in harmony and part of a universal consciousness?
If you look, I was looking at the video, the Iranian knowledge seekers are working so hard to be able to make that hole in the middle of the core. And they're so busy with it. They just managed to see a few bubbles in it. They were so excited. I received the video yesterday. But the truth is very simple. If you manage to put all the energies of the universe in that core as a Gans, then what you see as a bubble or whatever you call it, the soul of the core, will match the soul of the man. And does the man need it to be able to transport through it? Or does it bring the universe to the man to be in that bubble? In so many ways, in the future time, man will understand this process. As I said, you make the gravitational field of the moon and you travel to the moon. It'll attract you. Isn't it correct now that you understand more? I can tell you that you create the strength of the soul of the moon, and the love of you for the moon will take you to. And you decide in which layers of the moon you want to manifest yourself in the dimension of physicality. You create the heartbeat of the moon in the heart of the man, and man will become part of it. You don't need to fly to the moon. And that needs a lot of wisdom and a lot of understanding, if you understood what I said. Any other question?
Well, along those lines, there's a third question here. So is Gans a spiritual awakening system for all humanity in a few years? Something that before would take dedicated monks and nuns lifetimes of difficult practices to achieve just for themselves?
Read the first sentence, please.
So is Gans a spiritual awakening system for all humanity in a few years?
If you understood what I said just a few sentences before,
Yes,
then you understood it. I answered.
I knew you'd already answered it, but for the benefit the benefit of that person, I thought I'd better ask the question after it was answered. Thank you. There was another question that's sort of along these lines that perhaps you can clarify from Kent, who says, when praying, would aiming the Maggrav reactor in the direction of the target soul improve the elevating of their soul?
What?
When praying, would aiming the Maggrav or reactor in the direction of the target soul, would it improve the elevating of their soul?
As I said to you when you read that before, I said this has become rocket technology. You want to target it.
Yeah, and the second part was, would aiming my body at the Maggrav improve the results?
You know what they call in English flashing?
Flashing?
In English as England, speaking as an Englishman, as you call it, you know, they flash, they open the jackets and they show on their clothes.
Flashing.
Yeah, flash it. So say you want to flash this way, I target you, you can have my love, and then I want you to change your mind. The what I call weapon technology is over, so there's no missile business. Isn't it better to understand the totality, that you expand your wishes, dimension of your wishes, to encircle, to embrace the other soul, that if it needs it, it'll get enlightened. Maybe it's your soul which needs to be enlightened by that soul, and you don't see it. So when you think that way, that I want to direct it, why don't you expand it that you might need direction? That's the point of humbleness. That's the point of maturity. Maybe I've answered you if you understand it. Any other question?
We have a question in the Q&A here from Beat, who says, a friend of mine suffers over many years from air pollution. Through his researches, he identified VOC, which is volatile organic compounds, and aluminum oxide as the main problem. Is there a way your home and is there a way to protect your home and shield off or minimize those toxins through the use of Gans plasma? What would be the best method?
Yes, it could do, it can do, but you have to understand why and how and the way it's done. The environmental pollution, according, it could be some better for evolution or some maybe not for you, that you're going through the evolution or you have to accept it. When you get allergies like this, it means the body is not ready to go through the evolution of expanding and understanding and accepting new dimensions. Maybe that is needed for the next cycle of evolution of the soul of the man. This is why we have the allergies. We cannot accept the new condition. Many of us live in the same environment and we have accepted it because then it becomes part of the evolution of us to fit the, what we call the new energy fields of this planet, which creates the condition for our survival in the future on this planet. Allergies, if you want to call them, is non-acceptance or not wanting to accept the changes through the dimension of emotion. When it happens in the dimension of physicality, we call it cancer. Which is something, energy, which we cannot process. Any other question? Is the sound okay today? Are you happy with
Excellent.
it, Mr. Kramer?
Very good. Couldn't be better, Mr. Keshe.
We have got a new system, thanks to Stanley.
Oh, okay. It's working really well.
Yeah. Okay. We should
We
be
have
okay.
we have a question from Chris in the YouTube who says, how can we change the habit of owning and accumulation and hoarding things? Man is so preoccupied with that he has little time to know himself.
Hasn't this been the mystery for mankind from the beginning?
It is.
Even when we were moles under the ground before dinosaurs, we used to accumulate in the store. This is not understanding the process of creation and the fear of demise. And as we develop these new technologies and we see we can have what we want, this dimension will disappear from humanity. This is part of the cause of the problems of wars. And by giving confidence of the everlasting availability will go. Many nations enter wars just to collect food that guarantee the survival. And this will go. Many animals eat on top of or consume so much energy out of the fear of. If we understand some of the reptiles who eat one food a year or whatever every few months, and they only eat when it's there, and they can adapt to how much they eat till the next food, we understand mankind has got a long way even to mature to their level. What dictates? They live in a very small environment, but the radar of the soul sees the totality, what is getting ready for them when they need it. We look at the point and the position of the hunt. We don't look at the position and the condition of the creator, of the soul of the hunt at the point of inception. And to change that change is going to be very difficult for humanity and the creatures on this planet. Chinese are planning to launch hundreds and thousands of satellites in the next 5 years. Would we use these satellites to feed, to use them to create condition of the availability of the energies that the mankind needs, that not even the fish will kill? The biggest criminals of eating other lives, if you look at it, is plants, because they continue to consume the protein directly once it's created. Would we live in this dimension, the physicality we are, once we change and understand the change of the whole structure, which we will do? We don't consume physical food. Is there any need for the whole of digestion system? Do we need bladder and kidneys to clean it and the lung to convert it? But the reality comes, how would our body evolve with our position so rapidly? Would we feed the soul of the man and in process will confirm the existence of the need of the physicality, and that's it. You don't consume anymore. In a way, you get internally fed for what you want to show in the physical dimension.
Mr. Keshe, good morning.
No, there we go. Yes, Mrs. Keshe.
You always make me laugh. You know, you mentioned something. I don't know if it is the time
You
is
know,
right for you to answer.
let me. She's only 10 meters away from me. So she's not on the other side of the planet. Okay, carry on.
Not this time.
Not this time.
A lot of times, yes, but not this time. We finally managed to be together for some year for a change.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could answer had discussion about
You're
Adam
interfering with our
and-
frequency. Excuse me, can you stop? You're interfering. We can't hear it because you're too close. Would you like to come and say your question here? Then we all hear it clearly, please. Because it's becoming like a beep, 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 beep. Okay, is there any other question till Her Majesty makes
Is
her
it
way?
better now?
It's better now. Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Yes, it's very good.
Okay. I found a trick. Put the headset on. You remember we were talking yesterday, I think it was, that maybe it's time for me to explain to humanity Adam and Eve, but the real reason why it's Adam and why it's Eve. I don't know if the time is right for you to explain it now.
I just explained it a few minutes ago.
No, you only explained part of it.
Mankind is not ready yet.
And that
What
was
I
my
tell you
question.
in private, mankind is not ready. Mankind is not ready to understand the truth about the Adam.
That was why I asked, because I didn't hear the second part of the explaining. I thought maybe
You see, the Adam is the creator. The Adam is not the man. The true Adam, what was brought to mankind, and mankind, as I say, the religious leaders converted it to them to suit them in Bible and before, or the Old Testament, and then was added and changed to suit the understanding and benefit of the church and the synagogue and the mosques and everybody else. The true essence of the creation of Adam was explained to humanity a long time ago. The Adam is the God, is the creator, is the creator of all. And the Eve is that who he could show his love and adoration for what he had to give, but he could replicate him in essence, what we call the daughter of Adam. The Eve, what we call, is not the Eve as you call it as his wife, but in truth was his daughter. Because not only could show the love of the Father, love of the Creator in what is created, but in it he could see that could create another life. In essence, when you are just and correct in every sense, you do not need a male and a female to create. In essence of justice, as is in Chinese yin and yin, the balance of the field forces leads to creation of new dimension, which what we call the daughter. What can create from me in his own existence another? That's what a woman does, where a man does not. And in essence, as I said for many years, on the evolution of presence of the soul of my daughter, the cycle of the creation will complete. For me, for the essence of the Creator. until that time, the essence of the creation is not complete. In so many ways, mankind has misunderstood what was explained, but this is the only way he could. And this is why when it was originally, thousands of years ago, explained to the men of the, what we call, who were supposed to be the soul leaders, they twisted it the way mankind could understand and put it in the shape of physicality of Adam and Eve and the apple. The apple, when the female was created for life, for showing the love, not to be the daughter, but the partner to share with, was what we call creation of what we call interaction of physical life. That man got bonded and binded to the physical life. This is why in so many ways, many times I said, we come to the dimension of physicality to understand why Adam ever created the dimension of physicality. Was it the conformation of his own physical existence, or the pleasures of the beauty of what he can create? The life, the completion of the life comes when the daughter of Adam is created. Until that time is the time to be. And in so many ways, the life of Adam, or the creator, or what you call God, is the essence of the creation of origin. In so many ways, you call it the virgin birth. Does the virgin birth comes the interaction of the soul of the man, or does it come from the creation of the soul of the new life embedded in the body of the man? Many, many of those who are the travelers of this planet, as we have opened the enhancement units, have been here. Physically, it's impossible to interact, to have children. The interaction is by falling in love of the soul of the two created. And they created what we call the child of the soul. And then if the female is of the earth dimension, she accepts to nourish that soul, to give it the dimension of physicality. And we see many of those on this planet. I met one very recently where the feature of the existence of the father we see in the shape of the daughter. And all the daughters carry the same along the line. These are the children of the soul. And in Christianity has been changed into virgin birth. As I wrote very recently to one of knowledge seekers, I have manifested in the soul of Moses, Muhammad, Jesus, and many others. But in essence, I am the same soul. This is what we can tell what will come, because we plan and we are the originator, we are the origin of. The children of the soul in the dimension of physicality, we shall see very, very soon again. Shorter than mankind can imagine. This is the new dimension. This is what we have to understand, that unravels the mysteries of the past, which has been shrouded by a lot of mysteries. Adam is the creator, not Adam as a man. In the passage of man through the universe, as man has always been so physical, man of different, what we call the strength of physicality, will fall in love with the passengers of the universe, the same with the women. As I said, physical interaction to create 99% of the time is impossibility, as a frog cannot mate with a cat and a dog cannot mate with a fish. As simple as that. But a frog can fall in love with a cat. In the dimension of physicality, it's impossible. But in the dimension of the strength of the soul of the man, or as we call the creation, that is a reality. Mankind, now that is open up to the space, will see it as we fall in love like a God knows ton of bricks with a woman on this planet. We fall in love like a ton of bricks in the space with the soul of the beauty of the soul of the creatures of the universe. And when we give, in giving and receiving, is like a egg and a sperm. It creates a new dynamic situation, condition that it leads to a life of its own. And then who of the two are responsible or accept the responsibility or have the near strength to nourish that new soul. The future of the mankind in the space does not come out of intercourse with the physical dimension. It comes through the dimension of the soul, which is the creator of the physicality. Mankind will understand this very soon. And this is one of the reasons we came to this time and presence, to complete another cycle of the creation. There is not to be the reflection, is to understand the totality. If you look at it in agriculture, we take a skin of one plant and we put it on another plant and it changes the fruit and the flavor and the color. Do we carry the essence of it or do we carry the emotion of it? It's the skin of the plant. As we know, the skin is the essence of the emotion. Now maybe those of our farmers understand the truth about it. We will understand new dimensions in the opening of the space. If I could explain to mankind how much the universal system, enhancement system, will change the course of humanity, you will all commit suicide to be in that dimension, in the physical dimension, not to be present. As in the Iranian teaching, somebody asked a question or said that they are saying in Iran that now he's changing man to souls and God knows what's going to happen with the souls. If a man physicality changes the soul in the dimension of the universal system, it means that physicality has matured to join the physical what they call the world of dimension of the universe. Isn't this that why we are all born. And if the system creates that condition, it must have the energy of the creator, that it can elevate the soul of the man to be free from the physical dimension entanglement in it. But does it mean we're going to miss it? I do not think so. Maybe the connection in the world of what we call the field, the strength of the soul, will be much stronger than when there was a father in a physical dimension. Now we understand, as I said many times, when we come, we bring a soul which is our lover with us, because we have matched in the dimension of universe, allowing it to nourish a daughter is the natural process of the souls of the universe, which means they follow the process of the creator. But we give it the dimension of physicality. Then you call it the Adam and Eve. From singularity and in balance with each other, we create the birth. Not in the dimension of man's thought. I told you, slowly, slowly, we mature you to the point of understanding. Not only you don't need to eat what you see outside because it's beautiful, you don't jump on it because you think it's your right. So you will understand. We on this planet possess physicality, but not the soul and the emotion. And this is one of the biggest mistakes in man's mind. And if once you become aware of it, you have solved half of your problems. As I said to an Arab guy and a Muslim guy and a Jewish guy once, I said, you know, you men always think a girl has to be virgin, that you are the first man to conquer. You conquer the physicality, but you don't know where the emotion and the soul sits. Is it virgin? Then mankind understand that man needs to live through the soul of the man and not the dimension of physicality. Because in the dimension of soul you see the truth. A lot to learn. And a lot to get rid of in taboos and misunderstanding. Any other question? It's nearly 2 and 15 minutes.
Good morning.
I think we hear Azar.
Azar is there.
Azar.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
This time you got your voice, Azar.
Yes, I mean, I think it's working.
You think it's working?
Yes.
You have to understand, last time we had a meeting, Azar did everything to get in, she couldn't get in. We said she lost her wings, now she lost her voice. Now today she's got her voice back, but not her wings yet.
Okay, Mr. Keshe. What happened after the Adam created the Eve? What happened between them?
Eve as a daughter to the truth, or Eve as a completion of man's understanding of another?
I want to know the real story.
You're not mature enough yet.
Mr. Keshe, what do you mean we're not mature enough? You said that you open it.
Mankind, it's not time for it yet. In the future, I'll open the book.
So we need to have a private meeting then.
No. Mankind is not ready yet. In due course, in time, we'll open up more.
And Mr. Keshe, another thing is when you talk about mankind should see the world through the soul, because the soul sees the truth. But how can we train them? The man sees the truth.
It will happen in time. The whole of the soul of humanity is getting ready for it. We see it. Maturity of accepting is big part of it. Maturity of understanding of it is the reality of it. As I said to you, the guy I met a few days ago, claiming to be one of the first F-17 fighters, and his nation is superior now, understanding what he worked and he believed and talked about, now worth nothing, was a huge shake of, what do you call it, emotional understanding. And in that process, he needs to go into his soul. I didn't get much chance to speak with him, we had to leave. But in so many ways, we need to think what we gain from this process of life. What we need to give from this process of life, or interaction of the physicality with the soul of the man. And then do we find our true value and our true position in the world of creation? We try to get quite a few number of these systems into one place, or maybe into Tehran Conference, and ask a number of world leaders together go inside each machine. And it'll be interesting if we have any world leaders when they come out, as I said before. Would that come out of the elevation of their soul to understand, or would they be shocked by understanding the truth of seeing the light, as we say it, which is the light of their own souls in interaction with the dimension of the soul of their physicality? Many people at the point of death talk about the flashing light and entering a peaceful condition. Isn't that point when the dimension of the strength of the soul of the man interacts with the soul of physicality of the man and is superimposed, that the physical dimension of physicality in the soul level is fed and satisfied and finds peace? Isn't this the truth about the flashing light, when the two souls meet, when the light and the fields appear from the interaction of the fields of the sun and the earth to the daylight? Isn't that the same point? When the strength of the soul of the man crosses the soul of the strength of the soul of the physicality of the man and creates that light where he encompasses it. Are you ready for the truth? Then this is the truth. Then how many of you are ready to do that? And as you have dimension of control in the strength of the soul, would you be able to retract it, to manifest yourself in the dimension of physicality? And isn't this what we do in a very softer way when we choose the path of sleep? Isn't that time when we allow this to happen? And we do it out of addiction. We need it and we call it a sleep to recharge. Our body continuously recharges. Isn't it that injection of addiction that we have to meet the soul of physicality and the soul of the man? We call it the sleep time. To meet and shake hands. Or allow the soul of the man to, in a soft way, under control of the physical dimension, to superimpose the physicality and allow all the cells to take what they need from the dimension of physicality or the soul of the man. I told you, if I'll tell you the truth, you all run, because the school of thought you've been brought up is not the school of thoughts of the reality. Man has lived in a fantasy world for too long.
Mr. Keshe, are we all exit the same way? Because I heard some people say some souls, because of the desire they have, they stay earthbound. It means they don't go to the creator, they stay here. What is that?
Nobody goes to creator as such. We become part of the structure of the position of the creator. But if you have attachment in a way to the physical dimension, you can hold on for some time till the energy balances goes balanced. Man has to understand the process of the separation of the physicality. Man has to understand the process of the creation of physicality in the dimension of existence of the soul, which I explained many times. If you're a dentist, you work as on a medical side, you've seen how people want to give everything in the dimension of physicality collected, even their own part of physical body, cut it up, to get rid of it, amputate me. I want to live longer because without amputation I have to live. I'm prepared. I'm paying you to let me suffer more on this planet. That's all it is. Why do we go into the hospitals and get amputations and get the cancer treatment and the rest of it? To be here to suffer more. We love to suffer. Man is addicted to suffering. And it says glory in it. Idiotic adventure of physicality. Making life comfortable, yes. But trying to stop the conversion because you want to suffer more is something we never understand. If it was me, say, take the whole lot as fast as you can, let it grow. I'm gone. I go to my destination of where my soul has been created to be.
Mr. Keshe, I think I've been thinking the same way for a long time, for the past 20 years. Like I always say, if I get anything like a cancer, I don't need, actually that's a blessing, I just go. But people think you're out of your mind, that you don't want it, you don't live life enough.
It depends what mission you have and what your soul decides. I always remember, I've said it many times. You can bend the laws, you can break the laws of universe, you can do whatever you like. If it's not destined and timed, because the other souls have already made the position for it, you got to stay till the time the bell is, what do you call it, is rang. Because they need to be in their position, you cannot steal and give to them. It's like the guy says, Mr. Keshe, if you can make gold, why don't you make it and so? If I make enough gold, then the gold has no value. What the heck, I'm cutting my own throat. Then we can't get other people to be busy with it that they can change, understand has no value. It's a strange world being in a dimension of physicality, and it takes a long time to understand it. Long time to understand it.
Mr. Keshe, I have another question. In a couple of teaching in the past, I mean, I had asked this question, I think 2 years ago. You didn't answer it, but you answered 3 teaching ago that the Creator himself.
No, you matured in 3 years, you understood
Okay.
it.
So the Creator came from the field himself or himself, the Creator itself. So, but what is behind those fields? Who created those fields?
As I said, if you remember, as a good, what do you call it, advertising man, read book number 8.
When is it coming in?
Oh, soon, when I get a chance after 2021, when I'm retired and
You mean 2021, another year?
I have to get the time to retire. Huh? When you're retired, you do things. When I can nourish a new dimension in souls and new souls, and at the same time sit down and be able to contemplate how to get the mankind to move in a different ways. You see, the Tehran Conference is the beginning of a change of process, as we have to reach billions of people and change a lot of things at the same time. It's not going to be a flip of a finger. And we need the religious leaders to trigger it, that we trigger the soul of the man. Why do you think we come into Tehran with the presence of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei and we inviting the popes? They have to relinquish their station and the position to the dimension of the Creator.
Why?
Because then no one can take no souls to slavery. Then the soul of the man collectively will mature once he understands the truth. This is what gradually will understand. The soul of the present Pope has understood. He said he'll be the last Pope. The mouth speaks the word of the soul. As we change the dimension of the dependence on physicality by allowing that it can feed you and everything else, now we take the dependence of man on the slavery of his soul too. And that only comes by end of accepting what we call religious leaders. They have to relinquish because they mature to understand the time of end. And they open the path. You see, when they wanted to start the revolution in Russia and break up the communism, they brought a Polish priest, as he was inside and understood. When we want to do the same thing, we do the same because we put in that position. If you want to change the structure of the abuse of the soul of the man, you have to let those who did the abusing to bring it down to an end themselves. And now that we reach the point of maturity of physicality, Now we bring those who slave the soul of the man to end it themselves. Because if we do it from outside, we are enemies. But what is done from inside is accepted by totality. In my time, the Pope will put his ground out. In my time, the religious leaders, be it whatever, will put the ropes and the ribbons and the thrones on the table. And in my times, the king and the leaders will do the same. And that's not a promise. This is what is actually taking shape now. Because we'll stop the time of abuse of physicality in controlling whatever as we have the systems. And at the same time, they stop the abuse of the soul of the man. In my time, there'll be no mullahs, no ayatollahs, no popes, no rabbis, and none, because we all will come the same. And this is the ultimate point. When a man chooses the path of correctness of what we call the day of judgment through the soul and his action, I allow the abuse happen to me. When I don't allow the abuse, my soul is at peace. Then he progresses the right way. And I decided not to allow my soul to be abused or my physicality, to be lied to be cheated and the rest. And when I took that step, everything has changed. I've been on both sides. I know the game, how it's played and how it should be played. When I received the message to become a messenger at the age of 19, I said, no way, no way. I fought with myself for months. I said, I know one way I can break it till I'm ready. And I went that way and it worked. It happened again when I was 29, 30. And it happened. I said, I know the way, I know how to do it. I'm too young. I am too young. I don't have enough experience of the physical world to be able to accept it, such a responsibility. Play the game the same. Anyway, the third time when I accepted the position to be what I carry, I knew I have gathered enough that I can be correct in everything. But when I allowed the abuse to happen, everything turned upside down. And it stopped when I brought the justice back into it. Justice to myself, justice to what was to be correct and understand. Because till you don't taste it, you don't understand it. Till you haven't lived it, you don't understand how it's done, the process. And this is part of becoming, living a physical life, to understand how you can stop the processes in it. It's like an experiment that you live to know what is the correct way to get the right formula to work out every time the same. But physical life is a very dangerous path because it has too many factors involved all the time. By creation of the soul, we commit ourselves to progress. And that soul has to be correct. And the soul of the Eve doesn't come from the fear of loneliness. It comes of the love of creation. And this is where a lot of mankind has made a mistake. We're not here to play and run. We're here to understand that the same mistakes cannot be made in the future in the process of the creation. In a way, we took the punishment because we couldn't understand what we created. Now we didn't take a punishment. Now we understand it, that it will not happen ever again. As they say, in English we say, the buck stops here at the hand of the creator and the boss. So we came to clean up the buck, to understand the reason that it doesn't repeat again. And it's the responsibility to be there.
Mr. Keshe, what was the mistake?
Killing, destruction. What a huge mistake.
Did that killing start with Adam and Eve?
It was the creator of the planet, the condition. Adam and Eve, you have not understood. In every condition, the love of the creator exists with it. Be it the moon, be it the planet, be it the star, be it the galaxy. It's the dimension of the interaction of the fields and conditions which created has to be correct. And on this planet, it went wrong too fast. Any other question? Or shall we call it the day after the Christmas? You had your gifts. Please register for the Tehran Conference as many as you can, as you like. We greet you with the love of the Iranian nation. Invite your leaders, the religious leaders, the priests, the rabbis, and the mullahs from every sector of the path of Diva, every man on this planet. That is the time for change. And if it comes, I'll enforce the change. The Iranian Keshe Foundation is ready for hugging you and embracing you. And the humanity is ready to embrace peace and love and condition of the science and technology and not fear of talk and conferences. As I said, we bring the humanity to Iran to make Iran part of the humanity, to be all in one. And that's the beginning of it. End of borders, end of racism, end of religions. Beginning of what we call a beautiful cycle, because we have the knowledge, we have the technology, we have the power of delivering it, and we have the audacity to challenge the world leaders to peace. Because we have the tools to deliver it. And we have a tenacity to be so soft to be able to do it.
Mr. Keshe?
Yes.
Can you be more specific about that letter, please? So that the whole community which is working in that direction can understand the purpose, what should be of the content on the letter?
Write it with the letter of soul, not in a dimension of physicality. And if you decide to write it with the letter of physicality, let your soul write it, not to be dictated by us. Then you understand.
Keshe, should we make one letter for everybody, or Everybody makes different letter.
That all depends on Universal Council. You are supposed to be, both of you are members of the Universal Council, and you have to decide as members of Universal Council. When you come to it, it'll come to you.
Because
Yeah.
I was thinking about the letter, and I really have a couple of people really big changes in the world. I can access them and then send it. I need the good. I mean, I was thinking about I need really.
Why don't you reach them through the soul? The letter will not be there. They come and tell you.
I already did, but I want to send. I want to send some a letter as a physical part of it to the connection I have with them, so they can
You
pass.
see, the beauty of life is what opportunity we accept, what reasons and where we're taken for it. Does all the letters have to be the same, as our cultures are different?
Okay, I understand.
Why does it have to be unified letter if the essence of unity sits in the soul of the Universal Council? We have chosen the seat for Universal Council in the past few days. We hope we succeed. And we hope in time will be what we think shall be. The Keshe Foundation management has seen the site. And if we succeed, in time, very short time, the seat of Universal Council will be set. We have to understand it does not come by the land or by the sea, it comes through the soul of the man. And the sooner we understand that through Universal Council, you will understand that doesn't need to be written in the word on the paper. There is no paper and no seeds and no pen in the universe. As Rick said, would you like to torpedo it in direction of who you want?
Mr. Keshe, I had a dream that there was a time that you weren't here, you were gone, and I was traveling, going to airport, but the airport, the plane went like this, and then your YouTube was playing in the airport, and every station I went, and people sitting in the waiting room, and the plane weren't like the plane, they were like a unit you have for a universal unit, and I went to it, and I lay down, and I was appearing someplace else. And going from places to places, but your YouTube was playing everywhere. And I was thinking to myself, and I wasn't thinking I was dreaming, I was really in it. And I said to myself, it's very strange, every place, instead of the usual TV Mr. Keshe is talking about everywhere. How did that happen? And suddenly I woke up.
I don't know. There's a very nice question here by Dan. He says, thank you for clarifying 2020. Why just now is the right time for peace? Through knowledge. Where did Moses, Muhammad, Christ go wrong in achieving this goal? They took the dimension of physicality. They took the position of physicality. And in so many ways, Moses, as he understood, he can possess more. And Muhammad, once he understood his power, can eliminate other things, but brought him other things. And Christ went different way of doing it. In our time, we do everything in moderation in the correct way for our souls to be just, not the dimension of physicality. And mankind still will understand. The message was correct, the messenger was correct, but then the earthly positions took over. And once they accepted the unbalance of their souls, the rest took over. Foundation was going the same way, but we stopped it very recently, past couple of years, because understood the problem, understood the physical changes necessary to be changed in that direction. I'm not attached, don't possess anything, and whatever we possess goes back to the foundation and to the humanity. It doesn't matter if it is there or not there, and what happened was not there was for us to learn. And to, in a way, for foundation, those people who supposed to be working for the foundation understood that they were here for different ethos, even though they sacrificed a lot. But in examination and testing one soul, one matures, not the physicality. There are few turning points in a small part of the world which then affects totality, the whole mankind in the long term. And one of them was misconduct of Moses and the killing. And then with Muhammad, with his killing. He went to destroy the statues, but his followers ended up destroying life. And that's very, very wrong. You don't behead because one does not agree. You love to change, not to kill, to change. And this is where the message on all cases went wrong. And typically, Muhammad was fully aware of this, that his limitation was the statues, not men. And this is where went wrong with Moses too. I don't hold any physicality, I have no attachment, and I kept it that way. I hold all the assets of the foundation as a trustee for the foundation. And on my passing, the Universal Council and the Earth Council become the trustees, but not the owners. In the next few coming time, we'll change the mandate of the foundation from United Nations and Universal House of Justice in Israel to the Universal Council and the Earth Council on a 50-50 basis. In the control and the running of it in the hand of what we call the Keshe Foundation. This time there are no leaders to abuse anyone's souls, and we saw the abuse of physicality by behavior of Rui in Portugal. It was unbelievable what we saw. And that changes. As a member of Universal Council, you're there to shine, not to dictate your agenda, or your national agendas, or your cultural agendas. Step down as a member of Universal Council if you're not participating in the new structure. The Universal Council needs to mature. You need many, many members to complete. be able to reach to change the soul of the humanity on this planet. As someone said to me in the videos, would the fishes have a member on the Universal Council? I said, do they have the soul and do they speak a language? Thank you very much for today. And what I call a Merry Christmas to those of you who believe the beautiful path of Christ. And as I said, move and make this planet one nation, one race. And then we become the race of the universe. That's the part of maturity which we all will be looking for and maturing to understand, to comprehend. Thank you very much for today. And don't forget, please, next week we start at 12 o'clock Central European Time.
Very good. Thank you for the reminder of that, Mr. Keshe, and for the wonderful teaching today's workshop.
Thank you very much. We'll see what next week brings for the new year.
Yes, we'll see you in the new year.
It's a year of luckiness. If you're Chinese, when you have a double of something, it's very lucky. 2020 is very lucky because it makes 4,000 or 400, I should say. And it has a 4 and double of the 0 on it, which is another lucky thing. And let's see how we build it and where we go. A 4 in a Chinese is sign of love as well in so many ways, for those of you who might understand something with it. And luckiness, because the time we can give. And it's balanced in all corners.
North, south, east, and west.
And
covers the whole planet that way.
Yep. Don't forget, please try to organize yourselves for the what you call KFSSI research, that what you want to develop, that how fast we can develop if you want to show it in Tehran Conference. We'll set up next short time the what we call the Telegram, what we call the Iran or Farsi conference point, that all those who want to participate can come in. Just give us a few hours, we'll set it up. We'll panel, but all the Iranians will be there. Try to see how and where and the way you can find people who can work and the Iranians can participate, even being for the research in the knowledge seekers, what you want to research with the Iranians. There's one thing I have to remind you, Iranian participants, those who are in position of high level research, are usually not allowed by government to participate on this level, even though many of them are the followers of the foundation's work in research and development. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. And I remind people that they can also attend the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, where we discuss some of the different projects and things that might be considered in the new year. And that'll be next Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central European Time. And the next Knowledge Seekers workshop will be at 12 o'clock instead of 9 a.m. On, is it the 2nd of January 2020, I believe it is. Next, the Thursday anyway, at 12 o'clock rather than 9 o'clock as the regular time. Okay, I believe it wraps it up for today's workshop. Is there any other announcements that I've forgotten about that we need to say? Okay, well, once again, thank you everyone for attending the 308th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, December 26, 2019. And we'll see you next week in a whole new year. Bye for now.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate. Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new Gans plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information. This video gives an insight into the therapeutic progress of a wheelchair-bound subject diagnosed with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Male, age 58, since his late 40s has been suffering from the two aforementioned conditions, which over the past 2 years have progressed dramatically, leading to a substantial loss of control over his limbs. He was brought into the hospital in a wheelchair, unable to transition from it to a standing position, stand by himself or walk unassisted. Holding a pen and writing was also beyond his physical capability. The processing of this case started in China in early September 2019 using the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The subject spent 15 to 20 minutes twice daily in this unit under the supervision of a team of qualified doctors and physiotherapists. The progress of rebalancing this condition through the use of the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is presented in this video. Knowing that every case is unique, the duration of the full rebalancing for such a condition while steadily reducing medications is approximately 16 weeks. Currently, a team of healthcare professionals continues with the process and upon completion will report its findings to the scientific world. Day 1. The initial assessment. The volunteer is in a wheelchair. He is unable to take any steps on his own. Day 4. Standing up. The volunteer stands up by himself after the plasma processing sessions and takes his first steps using a walking frame. Day 5. The volunteer is walking using a walking frame. He is walking unassisted, walking outside, and is confidently walking towards his car. Day 6. Walking outside. He is walking with more ease by the day. Day 12. Plasma processing. The volunteer walks faster, easily passes through doors, and even manages to sit down unaided. Writing. The volunteer is able to write for the first time after a very long period. Day 14. Standing up. The volunteer transitions from kneeling to standing. Day 15. Ongoing improvement. The volunteer is now far more agile. Day 29. He is able to do squats on his own. Day 30. Progressing. Various exercises, such as step climbing on elevated surfaces and walking backwards, are now possible. Day 30 plus. Vocal exercising. The volunteer begins vocal exercises to restore his voice and speech. The volunteer practices motor skills and hand-eye coordination using a ball. Day 36. Exercising. He practices further coordination skills. He is more proficient when step climbing on elevated surfaces. Day 40 plus, walking. The volunteer is confidently taking a walk in the park. Day 40 plus, coordination. Now he is confident to resume a normal life and go shopping with his family in the crowded market. He is improving his movement coordination. Day 40 plus, exercising. He continues to exercise in the public parks. Day 42, running. Unimaginable. 7 weeks earlier, he was in a wheelchair. Now, the volunteer runs for the first time. Day 42, running. He is running longer distances with ease. Day 45, running. He quickly progresses, getting better day by day. Now he runs in the sports arena, achieving 300 to 600 meters in different sessions in a way that doctors barely keep up. Day 59, climbing. The volunteer engages in adventure park activities and successfully climbs on a net. Day 60, cycling. He now adds cycling exercises to his routine.